The latest phase in the evolution of Moana Pasifika rugby will take place next month, where for the first time their Super Rugby clash against Queensland will be played in Samoa. This will be the fulfilment of a long-held dream by supporters of Pacific Islands rugby, and with tickets going on sale from this week, that dream is about to become a reality. CEO of Moana Pasifika, Pele Nato Sakalia, is with us now. Tēnā koe talofa, Pele Nato. Thanks for joining us.
Maloni, thank you so much for having me.
How exciting is it for Moana Pasifika to be taking this game to Samoa? What does this mean for you?
For me, the organisation, in particular the team, and for our Pacific legends like Sir Michael Jones and Sir Brian Williams, it's a historic moment. I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. I think it'll sink in once we actually touch down at the airport. But it's a hugely historic moment, and it's what a lot of legends have worked for a really, really long time, in particular Sir Brian and Sir Michael.
Why do you feel it's so important for Moana Pasifika and Pacific Rugby to have some of these games played in the islands?
It's our home nations. A lot has been spoken about the Pacific talents, those that are blessed, New Zealand, Australia, other parts of the world. But very little has been recognised of the home where everyone comes from, the Pacific. So for us, in our humble beginnings as a startup franchise in professional rugby, for us to go back to what we call our home nations, which are Samoa, Tonga and other places, we're going back to where it all began. And we want to complete that full circle. It's about recognising what they've done for us. It's where we've come from. And so it's the least that we can do to go back there. And the hope is in years to come, as we can kind of develop the model a lot more, we can spend more take more games to the Pacific.
And how excited are the players knowing they'll be playing in front of whānau and friends? Is this something that's been talked about amongst the group?
It has. It's something that's been thought about for a lot. What few people don't realise is we've got 14 of our players, come from the Manu Samoa's team, 14 players. So for them to go back, to be a part of playing the first professional game for this franchise in Apia Park, it's huge. Biggest thing we're going to have is being able to contain the emotions, not just for the players, but for everyone involved on the sidelines.
Sure. Now, the Fijian and Drua were recently victorious over the defending champion Crusaders at home in Lautoka in front of a vocal and excited crowd. How much is this result added to the opportunity, the excitement to play in the islands?
What Drua, and in particular when they play at home, what it just shows is just how much it means to play in front of their people. We talk about it a lot within Moana Pasifika, is what we're doing is greater than rugby. It's greater than what happens on the field. And Drua, time and time again, just shows how much it means to each of those players. They play way beyond themselves. You just look at the results that they got against the Crusaders. And it's a reflection of just how much it means for them. The crowd, people say it's the 16th player. I think it's bigger than that. It's bigger than just being an additional player. I think it just brings so much, and for our players, it has just as much meaning as it does for the Drua players.
Pele Ngato, I just want to ask, how supportive have the game's administrators and other teams, for that matter, how supportive have they been in ensuring this game is played in Samoa?
The Reds have been amazing. They've been hugely supportive of all of this. In fact, the Reds are bringing quite a big contingent to Samoa, so they've been fantastic. What they've done has been amazing. All the other clubs, the New Zealand rugby franchises that we've engaged with, like the Blues and the others that have kind of spent time in the Pacific, they've been really fantastic at passing on their learnings of running games in the Pacific, because it's while there's a lot of passion and all the rest of it in the Pacific, we still need to run a professional program, do the broadcast. So the support of other clubs that have been there, to deliver an event that can be broadcast live, their feedback has been amazing. And then obviously the support from NZR as well. So we've been very grateful for the support from the other franchises and from local administrators.
So after this history-making game next month against the Queensland Reds in Samoa, How many more would you like to see played in Samoa, Tonga, even the Cook Islands?
Oh, next year we would love to play not just a game in Samoa, but to also take a game to Tonga. So Samoa and Tonga are what we call our two home nations. They're the ones that have anchored our bids to New Zealand Rugby to secure a license to participate in Super Rugby. But the vision is it's time for us to play more games in the Pacific. The big challenge is there's a big cost involved in taking games to the Pacific. If you look at the broadcast alone, that's a cost of close to $300,000. That's over and above running the game in Samoa, in the Pacific itself. So being able to come up with an economic model that would make it economically viable, that's the only reason why it prevents us from being able to play more games. If you talk to Drua, even with their critical mass in terms of the big economy relative to Samoa and Tonga, they found it really tough, to get these games done in Lautoka and Suva. So for us, if we can somehow work with all the stakeholders in Super Rugby, the Super Rugby competitions, to come up with a viable economic model, then there'll be more games played in the Pacific, no doubt.
So ensuring that people can come and view the game, you're looking at ticket sales. Do you know what we're looking at here? You know how excited the people are on the ground in Apia?
Well, we launched our ticket sales today, and already we're oversubscribed in terms of people wanting to purchase the hospitality suites. So there's huge demands from the corporate sector. We've had massive ticket sales already in terms of people reaching out. So we feel really confident there's going to be a sellout. So there's close to the maximum capacity in Apia Park is just under 9,000 people. So we've priced it so that it's affordable for our people in the Pacific to come. So for example, on the embankment, it's $10 Samoa Tala for people to come in there. So we've priced it so that the people of Samoa can come to the game. It's more important for us that they're there than it is to try and recover our costs.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there are a couple of games between now and the trip to Apia. Moana have started the Super Rugby Pacific season, not achieving the results it would have liked. How have you felt about the overall growth of Pacifica games so far?
The team has grown a lot. If they were to be judged alone on the results, that would be a disservice. What they've really worked hard on is to get their game in order, to get the systems and the structures in place, build their conditioning, and they've come a long way. What they've discovered is it's an unrelenting competition. And the second thing is these other teams have seen what we could do last year, and so they're prepared. You just look at the Hurricanes; there was a bit of vengeance there in the way they played because of the results last year. But if you have a look at the evolution in the team, they've worked so hard. They've grown their game, but it just shows. This is a tough competition. Yeah. There were a couple of games there which didn't quite go our way, which we should have won. And if you don't take those results, it does make it challenging. But we're extremely proud of the boys, the effort that they're putting in to grow themselves. This is only their second year. And for a lot of these players, they're really inexperienced relative to the other clubs, the other players. And so we're just hugely congratulate them on the efforts they're putting in. Yeah. But we're wrapping as much support around them as we can to kind of get them through the challenges that are in front of us.
Beautifully said. Sensational. CEO of Moana Pasifika, Felenato Sakalia. Thank you so much for joining us today, and all the best for the rest of your season, particularly the one in Samoa. Ngā mihi.
Thank you so much.